I wake up every day wanting to commit suicide. I have a fear of failure as a recourse of what happened in the army. I feel like I'm a failure because I couldn't complete it, regardless of whether or not I was mismanaged by my doctor or my physical injuries were the primary reason why I failed. I take it upon myself that I failed and that I'm a failure in life. I have no self-confidence anymore. I'm completely scared to try new things because I feel the first time I fail, I just go back into my shell, and I don't want to feel the same failure that I felt with the army because it crippled me. I served just under 1 year at RMC Duntroon, but for all intents and purposes, I was in the army from the 7th of July 2010 till the end of November 2012, so just over 2.5 years, or just under 2.5 years. Since my first surgery in February 2011, I've had 11 procedures in hospital. I had electrotherapy on my spine, electroshock therapy on my spine. I had nerve root injections, I had steroid injections, I had a peripheral nerve stimulator placed in my groin. I had a trial of it. I had it put in permanently. I had it taken out. I had a ketamine infusion for 10 days that I was in hospital for, and I had a trial and an implant of a dorsal root stimulator. So currently I have a battery in my left upper thigh and 2 wires running up my spinal column attached to my dorsal root halfway up my spine, and it sends electric shocks into the dorsal root, which is supposed to kill the nerve pain going to my brain. But so far, the jury's out on whether or not it works. I still have pain, not quite as much as I did pre-surgery, but I still have pain in my spine. I have significant pain in my spine, but it was mostly meant to correct my nerve pain, which has died down somewhat, but is still there. So there was 6 of us carrying a stretcher designed to be carried 4 at a time. During that time, I felt A, back pain, and B, groin pain due to the heavy lifting. In summary, it was just that I was sent back too early against my surgeon's recommendation. I wasn't referred to a psychiatrist on a psychologist's recommendation. She hadn't checked my wound post-op for 3 weeks, and it took another doctor to come in and actually look at my wound. And it took 2 minutes for him to work out that I needed medication for an infection, which led to my nerve entrapment, which led to my battery, and it was just general lack of care. I was completely let down by time, and within 2 appointments of being at a different doctor, I'd had MRIs done on my back and my groin. I'd been referred to a psychiatrist, and within 2 months I'd had my first surgery to correct the major problems that I have now. So it is fair to say that there's a stark contrast between the level of care that I received in Canberra and the level of care I received in Melbourne. Well, by the time she left RMC, I was told that she'd been sacked, but they were looking for a suitable replacement for her. But obviously that's secondhand information, so I can't prove it. But talk to either the lieutenant in charge of Neville House or and doctors told me also that she was in a significant amount of trouble. Obviously my record of conversation didn't help her at all. If I could talk to the Prime Minister today, I'd say that the first thing you need to do is to to fix the mismanagement that goes on in the army. I severely doubt that this is an isolated case. During my time there, I felt that my chain of command pressured into pushing cadets through. Obviously, that's an accusation that I can't back up. But you know, what doctor, if they received a specialist report, would push somebody back into the field before their time, unless they had some sort of agenda that they had to adhere to? I mean, I had another mate who broke his scaphoid in his right hand, and he was supposed to have his hand in a cast for months, for at least 2 months, 2-3 months, and cut his cast off 4 weeks later, I think. And then yeah, that's led to him looking at having his hand amputated due to the consequences of that, of him re-breaking his hand and going out on battle block early. So yeah, if I was the Prime Minister, the first thing I'd do would be to revoke her medical license, because while what's happened to us is fairly permanent and can't really reverse it at all, there are civilians seeing her every day that have a chance at being just as injured, if not worse, than what we've been through. So his first thing would have to be to revoke her license, and then secondly, it would have to be to levy some sort of charges against her. For a 21-year-old to lose a hand, or for me to have a battery in my spine, or for another one of our mates who's 20 to have a hip replacement every 5 years for the rest of his life due to mismanagement is malpractice. It's criminally negligent, and I would like to see nothing more in my life than for this person to stand and answer questions in regards to what happened at the Royal Military College, because it's inconceivable to me for somebody to be able to skate on something like this when there's 9 different people wanting to come forward and say that something bad's happened. You can see I've got 6 scars on my body to prove that I've been mismanaged. Another mate's about to lose a hand. I don't know what more